It's the After the Snow podcast. We back with you guys again every week, like we always do. I'm your co-host, Dave Mays, and I got my illustrious co-host with me.
You already know who it is. Man, it's been a crazy week, Dave.
Yeah. For
you
both
in
of
LA,
us.
you've been in LA, and I'm in Chicago, man. What's with that?
Yeah. That was crazy. I was in your backyard, and you were in mine. And I'm back in Chicago now. You guys can see the background. This is the Chicago skyline.
The view.
I just got back this morning. Was in LA all week, and it was nice. I mentioned last week that we were going to be starting the new podcast with Bill Bellamy. So we
How'd it go?
It went great. I mean, the way we're doing it, you got to come next week. It's a studio right on Hollywood Boulevard, where the Walk of Fame is. So that's that sidewalk that everybody's seen with all the stars in the side, in the sidewalk, and it goes up and down Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood. And the studio is in glass, and it's right on the boulevard. So people walking down the street can stop and look at what's going on in the window. We didn't announce it or anything, but there was a crowd of people that was building once we got going, and we're gonna add the sound out there so that people can actually hear it while they're standing outside. They can hear what's going on, and I think in a few more weeks, once we get people know we're gonna be there, like every Tuesday or whatever, we're gonna start to see some nice crowds outside there, and it's just a cool experience.
Oh, no question. Just to have that glass on Hollywood Boulevard, I mean, that's ESPN.
Right.
That's major, man.
Yeah.
That's major. You doing big things as always, Dave.
Oh man.
And I'll definitely be there next Tuesday. It just so happened next Tuesday I'm not on the road, which I am glad. I'm ready to go home, spend some time in LA, man. All these different weathers and don't get it twisted though. I've been loving the people. It's been crazy. Matter of fact, last night I was in the airport and this lady was like, "Oh, I just love After the Snow. Oh, I love it. I watch every single show."
Oh man, thank you.
Yeah,
Whoever
it was crazy. It was crazy, man. The show's starting to catch on, man. People are watching, man. They want to hear. They want to hear, man, what we talking about. So
that's good.
It's been shocking, man. I spoke in Chicago too.
Tell me
Inglewood. Inglewood. We spoke over in Inglewood at a kind of like a little youth center. It looks like it was an old school at one time, but now they turned it into a community center. And so we were doing an expungement clinic there with Indica and Bo Money. And man, one of my jailhouse buddies came over, man. Somebody I hadn't seen since we used to walk the track together. We both had life sentences. And
oh wow.
When he got out of ADX, I started teaching him how to shepherdize in the law library, and we would go to business classes together, and this was our first time seeing each other.
Wow.
And I invited him on the stage. When I spoke, I invited him up, so he spoke, and it was crazy, man. He was a GD too. He was on Larry Hoover's case.
Oh wow.
Matter of fact, he was the second guy, I believe, on the indictment behind Larry. So, he got up and he told everybody how, even though when I had my life sentence, that I always used to tell everybody, man, I'm getting out of here. I'm getting out of here. I'm getting out of here. And
hell yeah.
So I got my life sentence off, and then he got his life sentence off, and another guy that we used to hang with got their life sentence off. So it kind of became contagious, and when you hear the story, it kind of lets people know that once people see somebody accomplish a certain goal that people think is almost impossible, it gives them the
Mm.
strength and the courage to do the same thing. And then he wrote a book too, man. He
Oh
got a
wow.
book too, man. It was like, it was just crazy, man, just to get to see somebody, and that you ain't seen in 20 years, and used to walk the track with, and you guys were both under the same kind of pressure.
All right,
Uh,
man.
it
That's
was
such a
amazing, man.
that is that's a blessing, man. What's his name?
Bible.
Bible. Okay.
Bible.
Uh,
And you know what? I don't even know
yeah.
his real name,
Yeah.
because in the streets we don't really care about real names and last names, and uh,
Yeah.
uh, but I definitely wanted to. I'm gonna make the introduction with you because I know you guys are working on the Larry Hoover story, so
Yeah.
he's definitely somebody that should be talked to. You
Yeah,
know,
I was going to say that I know about Bible. We haven't spoken to him yet, but I know about him now that you mentioned him. Because yeah, with Breakbeat, we're doing a 10-part series, the life story of Larry Hoover. The first time it's ever going to be told in depth and in a very accurate way that's going to really explain everything and give a proper perspective. So we're really hard work. We've been working on that almost a year, and can't wait for that to
I
come
got
out.
somebody else you're gonna need to talk to too.
Okay, okay,
Gangsta Boo, she came by.
okay.
Uh, Gangsta Boo was in one of the state pens, and she was telling us about the story when they got ready to bring Larry to the pen. How they
Hmm.
called, this was a co-ed pen too. You had men and women,
Oh,
and they called all the heads of the pen, to the lieutenant's office or the captain's office or something like that there, and they was asking everybody who had problems with Larry Hoover coming to the yard.
huh.
And she told a little story about that. I think that would be interesting as well, for what you're doing.
Yeah.
When I see something that I think will help, I'm gonna bring it to you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so
Shout out to Larry Hoover Jr. and Larry Hoover's wife and Larry Hoover Jr.'s mother, Miss Wendy. Who I've been working closely with, and everybody's working really hard to get him home. He does qualify for release under the law, but there's a judge that can use his discretion, and so far has denied him. But there's a major appeal that's being filed. They got some new lawyers. Kanye West helped bring in somebody to add to the legal team. I got Justin Moore, and now Jennifer Bonjean are working on that case very hard. So there's a lot of hope that he will be able to come home. So
yeah,
we
it's been long
acknowledge that.
enough, man. Well, how long he's been in? Like 30, 40 years?
Almost 50. I mean, he went to jail in like 73. So we're
Wow,
going on 50 years.
wow.
He's been in the Supermax since maybe 97. So that's a good 25 in Supermax, which what that's all about.
Yeah, yeah. That place there is something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never been there, but I heard a lot of stories about it. I've met guys that come from there, and they have to readjust just to people might think that it's crazy that you have to adjust to get back to the penitentiary, but when they leave Supermax, they have to readjust inside of the penitentiary. So
Okay, so you in Washington D.C. now, so I just want to let folks know and tell everybody what you're doing there because you got some good stuff happening out in my home. Now you're in my hometown,
it's
Washington
crazy.
D.C.
It's crazy. I didn't know that. I'm thinking you was from Boston, man.
Mm.
And probably everybody else did too.
Yeah, no, D.C.
Yeah,
D.C.
yeah. I'm down in DC. One of my guys fight this Saturday, Anthony Peterson. Uh, gonna be exciting, and Anthony's probably gonna be my first guy that we get a shot at the title with. We figure
Oh
Anthony
man.
would be fighting for a title in about two more fights. Um, if you're in the DC area, come out, check us out. Call me, hit me up. I got tickets. I got 10 more tickets left, so it's gonna be a sold out crowd. So come holler at us. Also, we're gonna be doing an after party for Anthony as well. I don't know where that's gonna be, but we're gonna be turned up down here in
Where,
DC, man. I'm
where,
I'm loving DC already.
Oh man, that's good. Good, yeah, because you haven't been there like in a long time or what?
Long time, like
Yeah.
4 years maybe.
Okay.
I hung out here quite a few times with my boy Goretti. Goretti, the one who you just met today.
Yeah.
And when he found out you was his homeboy, he had a fit. Man, why you ain't put the city on?
Shout out to Get ready, man.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna we're
So
gonna we're gonna put some things together.
no doubt. But that's pretty much it right now in DC, man. I'm enjoying myself. Been going around today to a couple barbershops and went to the vegan restaurant and got me some sweet potatoes and macaroni and cheese.
Okay. Yeah, I saw you started like what, reviewing some of these restaurants. I saw something you did.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I started, somebody been telling me that I ought to become the vegan critic for vegan restaurants since I probably eaten in vegan restaurants in just about every state.
Uh-huh.
So they were telling me that I should be another one of my jobs. Since I'm there anyway, might as well give
Right.
it a rating. So I've been doing that a little bit, not like I should, but
Right.
it's
And
kind of fun.
now you got me thinking because I'm vegan as well. So I always like to go places and try different vegan restaurants and see how they're doing things in every city I go to. And actually, Larry Hoover Jr. is very close to vegan. He eats, primarily vegan, and so yeah, I'm just thinking something where it has different people such as yourself, myself, possibly Larry Jr., where we all are doing it wherever we're going, and it's kind of collectively being shared with people. It becomes like a vegan restaurant network of people talking about that people don't know, because a lot of people don't know that you're
Well, I don't know.
vegan.
I be looking for vegan joints when I go.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
which one is good? Which one is,
Right.
that may be a good idea, man. If we do something like that and start giving people some direction. Because
Yeah.
sometimes you go to them joints and man, I went to one joint and the food was so salty, I didn't know what to do. I was like, damn, is this vegan?
We won't say that where that was, but
No, I ain't gonna bust them out. I ain't gonna bust them out, but they better clean their act up because you know what? If you don't, the customers will.
oh man. So well, let's get into Snowfall. This is after the snow, and we are um, going back through season one right now. We're up to episode 4, which the title is Trauma, and we both watched this, and we're going to talk about it. I mean, there's basically 3 main storylines going on throughout this episode, which is Franklin and Leon and their whole journey to try to get their money back and Franklin's money back. Teddy being in the jungle and everything going on with him and his new partner Alejandro, and then of course you got Oso with uh, the cousins Lucia and Pedro and their whole situation. So we see all those things unfolding on this week's episode. Um, uh, what stood out to you? What were some of your first thoughts?
Well, really with the two the two cousins and also really stood out to me that now that they had sent Oso in there and also committed this murder, uh, they using that against Oso now. They telling Oso that they'll go to the dad and let him know that he killed his man. And I'm like, well, how would he know if you go and tell him this? Then he's gonna know that you set the guy up because Oso had no clue who this guy was. Uh,
Mm.
so I'm just really watching these two double crossers. How they really twisting and turning. Um, and I still didn't see the girl starting to catch feelings for Oso yet. I'm waiting for that to happen as well. But this was kind of for me. This was kind of a slow episode. Nothing really exciting really took place for me. They went and killed another guy, to make up for the first guy that they killed, I guess. they're trying to frame this guy that they killed to say he was the guy that killed the other guy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So their plan eventually works after them, really being worried about this. I guess we don't see the actual, struggle that happened, but they did show up at this guy's house and surprised him, the three of them, and there was some kind of a struggle. Apparently, also gets knocked out at one point. Lucia, at the beginning, we see her pulling something out of her hair, which I think was like a ring, a bloody ring or something, like looked like from being in a fight with the guy they were trying to kill, that they did kill, because apparently he was on her, and also had got knocked out. So, but they managed to kill the dude, get him out of there, and we see them now back at the safe house, trying to figure out their next moves, and then they get the page from Pedro's dad, like 911 to come on down, and they're all worried. Did they get away with it?
And they
And
still got the body in the trunk.
right,
The last that you see is also open up the trunk, and you can see the guy, his bloody body still in there. Um, really confusing to me on these parts of the episode. I don't know why they went through all of this trouble to get some money when they probably could have just went to the dad and told him they want to go into another line of work. I mean, that seemed like that would have been the logical thing to do to me.
yeah. I didn't realize that cocaine is an anesthetic. So we see apparently also got stabbed or something in this fight with killing this guy, and Lucia is stitching him up, and he's screaming in pain, and she throws some cocaine on there and numbs the pain.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a number. Matter of fact, they used to use it before. Dentists used to use. And matter of fact, they still use what they call novocaine, I think, or they
Mm.
used to use novocaine as well. But cocaine and novocaine are like cousins, and they both numb you. If you if you use enough cocaine, it even if you just touch it, you start holding on to it, you'll start losing your feel in your hand where you can't really touch. And people who snort it numbs their nose and their throat to where they can't feel anything. So yeah, you're absolutely correct. It is anesthetic.
Hmm. Interesting stuff. So yeah, so and then while we talking about also, who we said, in the past we like him, and
Yeah. Local. He's a likable guy. I
yeah,
mean, he seems like he's really loyal. I mean, he told both of them, like, why would you steal from your dad?
yeah, yeah,
So this guy, he has some type of morals. I mean, they say criminals have no loyalty and no what's the other word that they use? I can't think of it right now, but basically no loyalty.
hmm
You can't trust a criminal. But I feel like Oso is the kind of guy that you want to have your back. If he got your back, you good.
yeah. He's also like somebody with a plan, who has plans and dreams, because he's talking about how he wants to build this new boxing gym, and he's telling Lucia all these ideas once he gets this money that they've told him he should be making all these things he wants to do. And that's a little different because not all the characters caught up in the drug business are talking about things that they want to do and plans that they have.
Most of them are talking about objects they want to buy. Cars, jewelry, clothes.
Hmm
Things that's gonna make them look good right now, and not things that's gonna help them become wealthy in the future.
Yeah,
So that's good that he has that mentality. I mean,
yeah,
that's the mentality I had when I went in. I wanted to get me some type of business that would get me out the game. I kind of base um, my strategy on Superfly. You ever saw Superfly?
oh yeah,
Yeah. Well, you know how he was getting out the game. That's the
yeah,
way when I went in the game, I went in the game with the intention of getting out the game. So,
Right.
and I see also kind of have a similar wish.
So let's talk a little bit about Teddy and what's going on with him and what we're learning about him. Um, so the end of the last episode, of course, he comes back from dealing with his baby moms and his son, and finds out that uh, gosh, what's his name? Alejandro. Alejandro has bounced, took all the weapons. He's, gave up on scratching off the serial numbers, and he's gone. So, of course, Teddy calls in, gets some satellite, imagery, and figures out where they are in the jungle. And all of a sudden, he's down there in the jungles of Nicaragua, running up on
Tracking him
Alejandro.
down,
Yeah.
tracking him down. Well, Teddy has some type of superpowers, and I guess everybody believes that the CIA agents are these like super mysterious special guys. So I guess that they had to give him that type of persona in the show.
Right. And we've talked about that before with him. And because he's kind of like this, low key, kind of goofy type of dude, he seems, but he does have these special
Until he goes to
powers.
work. Until you
Right.
go to work.
Right.
Almost like Superman. Superman, he walks around, he got these goofy glasses on, but then when he puts that cape on, it's like, uh-oh,
Uh-huh.
woke him up. So,
Yeah.
and it kind of seems like that with Teddy, like he's a
Uh,
sleeper.
yeah, I was gonna say his spidey sense kicked in because remember, he's the one that figures out that the little kid that's in the camp there is actually a spy for the Contras, and had planted a transmitter in the tree. And how did he figure that out? He said, "Oh, I didn't trust. I just didn't get a good feeling. I didn't trust the kid, and I saw this, I saw that, but definitely his superpower, spidey sense, helped him figure that out that no one else could."
Yeah, Teddy is definitely something special. Um, and I can't wait to see what all the things he's gonna be doing in the series.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
And then they start to scratch the numbers off. He got him to start to scratch the numbers off, um,
yeah,
off the off the weapons.
yeah.
Was something that I guess he felt that was a must. And some of the logics that he made definitely made sense, because they was gonna come back to this guy, and if they come back on the guy's definitely gonna tell.
Right. So the other thing I noticed about Teddy, if you remember, he's sitting there talking to Alejandro's wife, and the wife says, "Oh, do you have any kids?" And Teddy's like, "No." And he's like, "Wait a minute. Yeah, I do. I have a son, my 2-year-old son." And so that shows, this issue that's going on with him, where he's just like, so caught up in his job and his mission and what he thinks he's, doing for the country, that he's just forgetting that he has a kid, and, has just disconnected himself from his family, you know, for this. And
Yeah,
yeah, that's
to-
something.
totally committed,
Yeah. But
totally committed.
that's something I can kind of relate to, just from being an entrepreneur, and, the years that I was building the source, from this piece of paper newsletter into what it became. I just, I kind of had my head down, and I was just trying to keep building, making moves. And, I really feel now in these last 5-10 years, as I've looked back on my life and those years that I spent, I did have a disconnect from a lot of things. I didn't block them out, like where I would forget I have a sister or a mother, but it was a psychological way of just being so focused on being an entrepreneur that it kind of stunted my growth in other areas of my life, my personal relationships and family and things like that.
Well, I think we all go through that. I'm having some of the same problems with that right now. That I'm on the road. I've been going right now for since last Tuesday. So, and then when I got back, I was only back in LA for one day. So, um, I got to see my family. I got home Sunday evening about 6 or 7. So I got to spend Monday with them, and then Tuesday I was on the road again. So it's a certain sacrifice that has to be made when you're pursuing your dreams, and you absolutely can get caught up uh, um, in those pursuits that you lose track. I would definitely say when I'm doing my business, I don't want to think about nobody else.
Hmm.
I don't want to think about where my kids are. And I had to do that when I was in prison too. When I was in prison, I found myself wondering, what people on the street were doing.
Hmm.
And what I did is I had to get myself focused on that what was happening on the streets, I had absolutely no control over.
Hmm.
And what I did have control over was what was going on with me inside of that prison. And it's kind of cold, I guess some people would say when you start to think like that. But those are the things that I believe gave me the advantage of eventually getting my case overturned, as well as being able to accomplish the things that I'm accomplishing right now from those sacrifices. Because you're sitting in prison. I had a son that was gang banging, and the guys from his neighborhood would come in, from his set would come in, and they would be telling me, "Oh man, your son only 16 years old. He fighting grown men. He knocking them out." Well, I already know that if you out knocking out grown men, that it's only a matter of time before one of them grown men gonna take a pistol and take care of you.
Hmm.
So you worrying about those type of things, and uh, uh, that are really out of your control. There's absolutely nothing you could do. So I felt the best thing was for me to get myself out to where I could get there as fast as I could,
Hmm.
and that's what I did.
Hmm.
So I can kind of relate to him being so caught up in what he's doing that I mean, it's almost like a boxer. When a boxer go in the ring, he should have nothing else on his mind but his trait, because every time they step in that ring, they're literally putting their life on the line.
Interesting, man. So last but not least, let's talk about Franklin and Leon and what's going on with them this episode. They got a pretty, they had the most excitement probably that we're seeing this episode. Um, Remember, last week we left off that Carvel ended up taking all the money that they, recovered after Franklin got robbed. But Carvel took it, and now Franklin's got to figure out what he's going to do. He went and got the pistol. We think it was from his uncle Jerome, and so when this show comes on, the first thing we see with Franklin, he's uh, having target practice under a freeway somewhere, practicing
The river.
his aim.
That's the river in downtown LA,
Okay, okay. So
which is amazing that you take target practice over there. That's right down the street from the police, from the Twin Towers.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
all the places to go take target practice, they go right to the police station.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he's down there practicing. Leon shows up, and Leon's making fun of him, and tries to grab a gun from him, and they have a little struggle, and Franklin gets mad. Um, But Leon's trying to let him know it's you gotta be ready, and that may not be for you necessarily. You might want to
He ain't no
let
he
me
ain't no
handle that.
gangster. He ain't no gangster.
Yeah.
He ain't little Leon. You better let little Leon handle this. I've been out here in these streets. You a good boy. You was working at the liquor store. Go back work at the liquor store. Let these gangsters
Yeah.
handle this gangster stuff.
Yeah, well, it's interesting to see, kind of his evolution here, because remember when they had Lenny tied up in the house last week or whatever, Franklin didn't want to kill him. Remember, he tried to talk to him, thought he could reason with him, so they wouldn't have to, kill him or, really injure
Beat
him,
him with that bat.
beat him with the bat, any of that.
That boy want to
So.
beat him with that bat.
So Franklin wasn't ready to kill Lenny for stealing his money, but now he's faced with, more than likely, they're gonna have to kill Carvel, because he don't seem like the type of guy, by any means you want to leave around if you go and confront
Carvel's a
him.
different animal.
Yeah.
He's a whole different animal. He seemed like he's been through the ringer. He just sexually assaulted the guy right in front of him.
Yeah.
So broke the guy's spirit. I mean, the guy seemed like he was broken after Carvel left out that house. So
Yeah.
they know they got to come with it with Carvel.
All right. So Leon finds out where Carvel's staying, and they casually just walk up to the crib. And of course, as they walk up, they see this Cadillac with the rims out front, and they're like, "Oh, Leon's like, there's your money. He just went and spent it all." Leon seemed like he knows a little bit about cars and rims and stuff like that. What did you think of that car?
Yeah. Definitely the car was fly, and Leon is a more street dude. And that's the kind of stuff that even more so relates to like my story, where I can see where they kind of took that out of my story, because I played tennis up until I was 18 years old, and all my boys was low riding and stuff, but I didn't know nothing about low riding until after, they told me that I wasn't gonna be going to college. So when they took me to the street races for the first time, I just fell head over heel over those cars. And Leon is more like Ali was. Ali already knew all that stuff. He could tell you every rim, the paint job, and how the hydraulics work. And I was more of a novice, and he was telling me kind of similar to not similar, but you can see where it's kind of related. They kind of flipped the story around a little bit. And I see them doing that in inside these stories, with words and phrases. They take them and turn them around a little bit and make them their own.
Mm-hmm. So they get to Carvel's house. Franklin has the gun. Leon's like, "You sure? You ready to use it? What have you?" And they go inside, and they end up finding Carvel. He seemed to be drunk, and they're kind of out of it. But he turns around, and then he gets up, and then he collapses in front of them. So Franklin didn't have to shoot him yet. And so apparently they pack him up in the trunk of the car and head off over to Avi's house. Their first idea is, let's bring the car over to Avi's house and let him, fix all this for us and get rid of Carvel for us and give him the car and hope he's going to be happy. But that didn't really work. Avi wasn't feeling that.
He wasn't feeling the car. He don't want no car. I want some money.
Yeah,
Where my money at?
Exactly. So Avi sends him back, man. He said, "Look, man, here's a shovel, and you need to go handle your business." Says they should go to the Mojave Desert, and he wants his money, but they need to go handle their business. So they got Carvel in the trunk, and they're driving, trying to get to the desert, and all of a sudden, there's a banging in the trunk, and they realize that Carvel is woken up. He's not dead, and he's going crazy in the back there, and they got to figure out what they're going to do. They're not far enough out of town, or that they feel like they can pull over and do anything with him. They got to keep driving. Leon's singing, but it was interesting. It reminded me, like of the Goodfellas scene, at the beginning of Goodfellas, where they got the guy, you hear the guy in the trunk, making noise or whatever. And, they end up opening the trunk up and stabbing him right at the beginning of Goodfellas. So I was thinking that I was going to talk about that. And then I can't bring up Goodfellas without talking about what happened today. You heard about Ray Liotta?
No, I didn't.
He passed away today. The actor who played Ray Liotta played Henry Hill in Goodfellas.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
apparently he was.
passed away today.
Yeah, he's only 67. He was in Dominican Republic, I guess, filming a movie, and they haven't, as of now, they haven't released any more information. But I think he passed away in his room last night. So rest in peace to Ray Liotta, man. That was one of the
Yeah.
one of the best movies of all time, and he had an incredible role in that movie and a lot of others.
Yeah, no doubt. Only news I'll be watching be CNN. So only thing they've been playing has been the shooting of the 19 kids and the 2 adults. The short time I've been in the room, I haven't been in the room much today though. I went in after we did the barbershop and took my shower and jumped up so I can get ready.
Yeah,
I've been keeping our show off all week. So I said let me try to get ready and get this done
right.
today.
Right. You mentioned the shooting in Texas. I was going to talk about this a few minutes ago when you were talking about being in Chicago and what you were doing here yesterday, because I seen this bullshit. I think this morning I'm looking on social media. They have a highlight of the governor in Texas speaking about the shooting of the kids in the elementary school, and he's talking about, well, we got to keep it in perspective that, like, there's more people get killed in Chicago every day, due to gun violence than how many kids got shot here in Texas, or something wild like that, where he's trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pissed, man. I couldn't believe this is I think he's the governor of Texas, if I'm correct,
Wow.
or a senator
Well,
from Texas.
the Republicans they've been tiptoeing around gun control and um, they I mean I heard one the other day that they were interviewing him and I can't even think of his name right now. I'm bad with names, but anyway, they kept asking him about would he change his vote now on gun control about taking assault rifles off the street. Stop allowing 18-year-olds to buy assault rifles, and he was talking about God and pray for the families and everything to get around. Do he think assault rifles should be on the street? And it was crazy. They had an expert to come on, and the expert was talking about that these guns are made to tear flesh and to break bones. So why are they needed on the streets? And the senator would not say that he would change his vote.
Man,
You know,
it's just terrible, man. Just
and I'm not Democrat nor Republican.
right.
It don't make me no difference. I'm non. I probably would be considered an independent, but there's certain things that just make sense. We should not be allowing 18-year-olds to buy assault rifles that can do so much damage. And that they were talking right before I left the room. They were talking about the police knew the guy was inside a classroom and the police didn't attack. Well, if they feel like they outgunned, and nobody wants to get killed. It's hard for somebody to go in thinking that they're gonna lose right off the bat. Nobody's
Mhm.
going into no war knowing that they're gonna lose. So with these guys with these high power rifles and these assault rifles, it's hard for the cops to go in there with their 12 gauge shotgun and their pistols.
Mhm. Mhm.
I mean, we saw what happened with the security guard, there in the supermarket a couple weeks ago when he killed what was that, 5 or 6 people?
More than that, like 11 something.
Was it 11?
I think so.
Yeah, so it's getting
Man,
crazy.
it is. It is, man. I mean, we could do a whole show talking about this stuff. But man, so we got to wrap this up. And you know, Franklin, bringing it back to the show, they end up taking care of Carvel and selling off the Cadillac. And Franklin sells his motorcycle. He has to part with his, prized new toy motorcycle, and he goes to pay off Avi, and basically tells Avi he's out. That's it for him. Avi's like, okay, cool. Give him another 3 keys, and Franklin says, "No, I don't want it." So I
Too
guess
much.
yeah, it was just too much for
I
him to
mean, he's
give.
been through a lot in a short period of time. Those are the kind of things that would make somebody quit. I can imagine if I'd have went through that my first week in the game or 2 weeks in the game.
So something tells me he's going to change his mind, but as of now, it's weighing heavy on him having to kill Carvel. Because remember, he couldn't shoot Carvel; he passed the gun to Leon, let Leon do it. But he sat there and watched, and it's a lot for him. Um, so we'll see how he handles it. Oh, the other thing that was funny, Rick, is that after they leave the car place, right, and Franklin and Leon walk outside and they part ways. I'll see you later or tomorrow. Franklin's walking off with the bag of money. He just got all this cash from the car dealer guy, and he didn't listen to your advice. He's walking down the street with a bag of cash again by himself.
Well, sometimes it's hard for people to learn. They don't learn, the first time. They keep running
Right.
to the same brick wall over and over again. So
He's lucky he didn't get bopped again. He made it to Avi's and got settled up with Avi. But we're gonna see what happens next week.
well, next
Uh,
week I think it's gonna be an interesting show. We should be stepping up a little bit. Uh, it's cranking up.
yeah, yeah. So we'll be back next week. I do have a tentative guest or two for next week lined up.
Who you got? Who you got coming?
Okay, well, one person who I ran into that's a Snowfall fan, and just I just really got a chance to meet him is Vic Mensa, the artist here from Chicago who's doing a lot, done a lot of things. Like him a lot, man, and he's a sharp dude who's doing a lot of good stuff, both here and he's doing things over in Africa. Um, and he loves Snowfall, so he said he'll join us next week.
Seem like everybody's Snowfall fans, man. Everywhere
Great
I
stuff.
go, they big fans of Snowfall.
Yeah.
Like I watch Snowfall all the time. And when I was in Nashville, Tennessee, man, it must have been like 30 people who came to the event. Like, I love Snowfall. I
Uh-huh.
love
All
Snowfall, but I never see your name in the credits.
right. Oh man. Wow. So hopefully, yeah, Vic will be with us all next week, so you guys can look forward to that. And Rick, man, thanks as always for making it happen, and great speaking with you.
Always,
Um,
always, so much respect for you, man.
and
You
you,
be turn up.
and you. So I must see you in L.A. next week. That's the plan right now. We're going to
Tuesday,
be
Tuesday.
together. And,
I'm gonna book that on the calendar today. Make sure that I don't get booked and
right,
somebody don't send me some money talking about, man, we need you here right
right,
now.
right,
Get here.
right. Yeah, we got to call Echo too. Double up with him. Make sure he knows. So
Yeah,
you
he
got,
gonna book me. Cause
uh,
Echo go down that list. He be looking for them dollar signs.
yeah, no question, no question. But yeah, we also hopefully going to do the whole thing in person for the first time. So we won't be virtual. We'll all be together in one place. Brett should be with me. So
Well, it's always better when Brett's around.
it is. He's been
Brett don't forget nothing.
Brett, just so folks know, Brett is getting her master's right now from NYU, and she's been heavy, dealing with finals and stuff like that for her classes, and that's one of the reasons we haven't seen her in a few weeks now. But she's gonna be back, and we'll all be together next week. So shout out to my lady Brett.
Shout out to Brett. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man.
All right, Rick. Well, enjoy yourself in DC.
Yeah, we're going to the go-go. We're going go-go tonight.
I can't wait to see how you feel after you do that, because we were talking before. You've never been live to a go-go, and I'm telling you, you're gonna experience something new and different tonight. So I'm excited about that, and I'm hoping you're gonna get up with my man Kurt Bone and be able to sit with him and do his podcast. I just did his show, so if y'all want to check it out, it's called what's Bone's podcast called? Man, it's Kurt Bone TV on YouTube. And you can look it up. He's got a dope new podcast he just started, and I'm hoping you guys are going to be able to link up so he can interview you as well.
Oh yeah, we're gonna definitely try to do that. I know I got like 3 interviews tomorrow, but me and him talked, and we're gonna definitely try to get it in before I leave. And don't forget, anybody here that wants to go to the fight, hit me up. I still got a few tickets left. Let's get it. Come see Anthony Petey's son. Move to the top of the list.
Apollo. I'm trying to give my dog a camera. Come here, buddy. I don't know if he's gonna. He's not ready. Come here.
He's camera shy, Dave.
Yeah, not really. He's just his mom's looking at him. So. All right. Well, we shall see you guys next week after the snow. Thanks for being here.
Thanks everybody for watching, and especially y'all that I saw this week who say you watch the show all the time. Love you.
Peace.